Another question I got was asking about the Yale and stud wall method. Again, I wasn't familiar with that. I did a little bit of internet search, and basically what it seems like is that it's a stressed skin structure platform resting on the stud wall, the load-bearing wall, the trestle wall. Again, I've used trestle walls before when it's needed. I've also built some stressed skin structures. It's not a common thing, but it is a very useful tool to know and learn so that you can do some of your complex structures and make it a little bit lighter as a result. What is a stressed skin structure? Your hollow core door with Luan and cardboard honeycomb structure is a stressed skin structure. Now, you wouldn't turn that over and lay it flat and make a platform out of it, but I have seen people take that hollow core door and put it on some sawhorses or some blocks and make a workspace. But that's not strong enough for you to stand on because it's just a cardboard honeycomb structure and it's just a layer of 1/8 inch Luan top and bottom. Now, I'm not saying that cardboard can't be strong enough because it certainly can be strong enough to create a structure. You see engineering videos of people inventing things made out of cardboard that are very strong, but not your hollow core door off the shelf from your home improvement store. But you can do things that are similar with a pine honeycomb structure of some kind and skin it top and bottom with a thin layer of plywood. The photo that you see a lot in stagecraft books is someone needs to make an arcing ramp that people need to walk on, much like those arcing bridges you see in gardens. And you lay out your structure, you bend a piece of plywood underneath, you bend a piece of plywood on the top, you glue it all together, and now you have a very strong, cohesive structure. And it sounds like the Yale method is basically just taking that and throwing it on top of a trestle wall. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't have an opinion of it. I haven't done that specifically. I haven't put a stressed skin platform on top of a trestle wall or a load-bearing stud wall. But I have done stressed skin builds before. A show some years ago here, the designer wanted these weird structures that were basically, the smallest one was a rehearsal cube that was 18 inches high on one side and 30 inches high on the other or something like that. So it could be turned into a stool, it could be laid down flat and be a bench, and it was just a hollow frame, see-through. And then the biggest one was a 4x4x4 cube that was the same thing, 4x4x4 and completely see-through. They didn't get used on stage the way that I thought they were going to get used because I thought they were going to get moved around and turned and need to be standable on all sides, especially those 4x4 cubes. But it turned out they were just in one position and they just maybe were there and shifted to another, so I didn't need to build the whole thing as a four-sided stressed skin structure that you could walk through. I could have just built it, structural on the top. But the cubes and the other ones that were kind of like, looked like bookcases. They were like two cubes stacked together with a shelf, and all of those were intended to be used in a lot of variations, and they just needed to be strong any which way. So I built a honeycomb structure out of 1x3 or 1x2, something like that. I'll have to look at the drawings. And then I skinned it with 1/4 inch plywood, top and bottom, and then I made those sides marry up, the whole structure. We still have a few of the cubes in stock, and we still have the 4x4 platforms in stock. And the cubes, they're a little bit heavier than a simple plywood 4-sided box cube, but they are strong and structural and stable, and they are not a cube, they're a rectangle because they are either bar stool height or lay it down and now you got a bench. So they're great for rehearsal rooms and rehearsal activities. They haven't seen a lot of life in performance in other shows, these things, and we eventually threw out the bookcase type things because those were just really odd and weird and never going to be used again. I still have the 4-foot-by-4-foot ones in storage in the basement. One's on a pallet and the other one's on top of it, and they are great places to store other items that I don't really have other storage, like some components for a spiral staircase that we built. This is one of those cubes. It's vertical in its bar stool position. It can lay flat on its side and be a bench. And it really is just a piece of 1/4 inch plywood, framing of 1x. I decided to do a diagonal structure. I think I just went in one direction for this, and then the bottom one I went in the opposite direction. So the same thing with the sides, I kind of did them in the opposite direction to provide some lateral stability. But then it's another piece of 1/4 inch plywood here, and that's what creates the stressed skin structure. Really lightweight plywood there. You can stand on that, you can dance on that. This thing is not going to come apart at all. And as you can see, it's been used and abused and loved. And these are the 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot cube version. Same thing, same structure. Might be a little bit thicker wall of pine. I'd have to look at my drawings, but comparing the two, this does look like this is a little bit wider. And right now it's just storage for spiral staircase components and some extra planks for our stage traps and stage floor. It's on a pallet, so we can easily move it. I'm a fan of stressed skin structures. I'm a fan of trestle legs and supports where needed, and you put those together to the Yale and stud wall method. It sounds like a great way to build. It wouldn't be my first go-to method for your just general run-of-the-mill structures. It's a great method and a great skill to learn and know and how to implement and create. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more technical theater content.